Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GAN's plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GAN's plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced, energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balanced fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered, which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection, as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists, and healthcare centers. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information.
Good morning. It seems that we have a problem with Rick connection. Welcome to the Knowledge Seekers program. Good morning, good day to you, wherever and whenever you listen to the series of Knowledge Seekers of the Keshe Foundation. Today, we share and we try to understand the totality of the knowledge. I need a feedback from if there is anyone listening that if you can hear my voice. We can see there are a number of people online. We have to wait for...
Hi, it's Dean here. We can hear you clearly, thank you.
We can hear you. But is the YouTube and the other sides are all up because Rick has dropped off?
Yeah, Rick has dropped off, so I'm not sure about YouTube and live stream at the moment. His system's gone down, so I cannot say at the moment. He has control over that.
Yes, we can wait a few minutes to see if he's coming back up.
Yeah, I've just seen the chat, Mr. Keshe, that says there's no video on Zoom. Keshe Foundation TV video is fine. We hear you, Mr. Keshe, on both Zoom and KF TV.
Yes, but can be seen on the YouTube.
It doesn't say.
Because he controls the YouTube and the other side.
He does normally, yeah, he has control over that. I don't, because he's dropped out midway through. I need to restart the whole session, and I don't have control over that.
Yeah, just wait a minute to see if it comes up. Let me see if I can raise him. Because otherwise the YouTube will be where it goes on. If he's rebooting or he's lost power.
I have no, at the moment, Ricky, I would imagine, as his whole system went down, Mr. Keshe, so I would imagine he's trying to reboot at the moment, present moment.
Hi, Rick, you dropped off.
Yes, my whole computer crashed and then restarted itself, and things aren't working correctly yet. So I restarted my server modem as well, and I'm just starting to get everything to start connecting back here now. I should be back in a couple of minutes, I expect.
Okay, apparently YouTube is still on, and other channels. You just come in and
yeah, the live stream would have been cut off, but I can.
I'm on live stream and it's on. Do you want us to wait for you to come up?
Let's see here. Connecting with the modem. I should be able to connect shortly here. Let me give it a try. Well, maybe it's a chance for Dean to announce the work.
Yeah, it's okay. We started it. It just came down to you. No problem. It's one of the things with the live teaching. It's okay. Join us when you can, and then we can always edit and put back in.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Okay.
Good morning. Good day to you, as usual. Sorry about this. This happens when you're dealing with live teachings, and is one of the hiccups and problems with the new technology. As usual, as we have said in the past, we will follow the same pattern of teaching and we go through. There are a number of announcements I have to make that is important for us to know. Next Thursday teaching will be at 7 p.m. Central European time and not at 9 a.m. Central European time. The teaching will carry on the same way, and will we carry on with another side of the progress of the Keshe Foundation. As you are aware, Keshe Foundation has acquired a new position for Keshe Foundation Studios and the operation of what we call the exhibition of the technology of the Keshe Foundation on a long-term permanent position. We are, as we said last week, looking for competent people fluent in German language and English who can work with the Keshe Foundation and permanently placed in city of Linz in Austria. This is as part of the progress of the Keshe Foundation in moving out of the exhibition center where we used to be and now has become a center for monitoring and administration of the vaccines with Corona. We had to move by the request of the authorities to the new location, and that location is totally now locked down for as a what we call the programs and injections and the monitoring of the Corona problems. The new center, which will be revealed in the next couple of months, it takes us a couple of months to literally set it up, is in an extremely beautiful position, and we expect, hopefully in a coming near future, the manufacturing part of the Keshe Foundation will be on the same premises or part of the same premises if we get negotiation completed. But we have now a permanent position. Those of you who wanted to come and see or be at the exhibition within the next month or so, we will reopen this prestigious center for the Keshe Foundation. And at the same time, the studio and what we call the presentation of the technology will move to the same center. We thank you for all your support, but either way, if you're planning to see the new extension and developments in the Keshe Foundation, please be aware that the whole structure is reopened. The enhancement units, the new enhancement units, the vertical and others will be displayed at this center. We have accommodated a shop facility that people can buy materials from the when they're in the exhibition. As now we have opened and we are in the phase of, we have actually moved in. Now it's just what we call the nitty-gritties we put in. What we plan with the Keshe Foundation television, with interviews of the eminent scientists and the rest will go online, which means if you have scientists around the world, which you know, or politicians, influential politicians, now we have the facility back on in a beautiful area and setting to be able to start what we set out to do in setting up the discussions and promotion of technology. We are still on target, as we announced. We have planned to start the launch of the space travel into beyond boundary of the Earth sometime next June. On the 6th of June is our target to start the process. And this will be part of the collaboration of the Keshe Foundation with many, many organizations. To a lot of you, looks a bit tight. You got to understand a lot of work has been done. This is fine-tuning with officials and groups who have already tested the technology, are in the technology. It's just synchronizing everything else together to be as part of one structure. In the teaching of past few weeks, we have brought a new dimension into teaching. We have brought the knowledge to be understood, to be part of the process of the soul of the man and operation of the soul of the man. In the recent past, many of knowledge seekers have found themselves in a two-track layer, that what happened with the gases and the rest. In the discussion we had with the Italian community, because they had concern, the people who have come recently don't know about the gas making, but they want to go to the soul and to the other teaching and other understanding. As I explained to them, knowledge seekers, Keshe Foundation is a Spaceship Institute. So we have people who are in the first class, we have people in the second class, we have people who think they understood more and they're in different levels. We have to accommodate all the knowledge that people take from it, what they understand and what they know, and what they can teach. We have teachers who are teaching very different aspects of the foundation, the nano coating, and those intellectuals who have grasped into it, understand it, and they want to carry on with that side without making the nano coating and the ganses. This is how it will be. Development of the technology does not depend if you can make nano coating and ganses. It's understanding the interaction of the fields, understanding the process of the creation, understanding how mankind becomes to be so. How we will interact in the depth of the universe with other creatures of Creator. It is important for us to understand the knowledge and not to block the others. If we have new intellect, as long as within the framework of the Keshe Foundation, because we see a lot of people coming in and then taking it to their own pattern of whatever they thought, we bring the technology in that we all can understand. Teach it, understand it, and if you have become a student, try to accept the understanding of the others. We have to accommodate. This technology is what I call very, very diverse. It touches every dimensions of the creation and the Creator. No one can say it has to be one way or the other. As I said, every change, a slight change, creates one solar system. A slight strength creates the same thing. If all the stars, if all the planetary system, if all the galaxies and all the universes had exact same characteristics, they would have merged, or they would have locked into totality as one. So that we are all different, and the knowledge is gained by every one of us has to be applied in that way. And this is important for you as knowledge seekers to keep an open eye. Do not become stuck in dogmas of the past. It's been said, is in the book, has to be. What is written in your book? What is written in your knowledge? And what does your knowledge, in addition to what you learn from the Keshe Foundation, adds to the knowledge of totality and share it. In this process, we have to be able to be flexible. We have to be, as long as they don't come in to pull the whole technology to another part which they think they want to push it, which goes back to all the problems of the past. We keep track. We try to concentrate on understanding of the totality. The knowledge of the plasma technology, the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation belongs to all of us, and it has to have a diversity in understanding, diversity in technology, diversity in teaching, that we cover collectively all aspects of the knowledge. In the present teachings, we have endeavored to bring, show, and in a way connect different parts of the work of the body of the man with the central control, which we were not aware. We used to call whatever whoever came up with the soul and the rest of it. And we have seen in an interesting way, a lot of things are taking shape. A lot of Keshe Foundation knowledge and technology has become the knowledge in public in different ways. As many of you know, we just recently have understood that one of the television channels has created a program about the black hole. And what we said in the original paper of Keshe Foundation, that the black holes create radiation fields and they emit fields and radiation, they have called it a Hawking radiation. So we see again, scientists have taken what was by one scientist and added to something else. What has been in the Keshe Foundation papers of the creation of black hole now has become attached to somebody else. This does not matter. As long as the people understand it, is the matter is important. And how it can be created and how be added. Stephen Hawking, the rest of his life, since the beginning of finding out the Keshe Foundation, the first paper of creation of black hole, he spent all his life listening to the teaching of the Keshe Foundation and setting his life step by step, trying to, what we explain here, to make it to his tune, that is, come up with something new. He failed miserably. If you listen to his teachings, he never managed to come up with anything new. Go back on the teaching of the last years of Stephen Hawking, you will listen to the Keshe Foundation teaching, because he was literally mesmerized that how he could not accept that such a thing, he could be somebody else's. This is normal with. You have to understand how these people are born and how they are kept by the government. In the Second World War, Americans had Einstein. British wanted a match. There was nobody better than Stephen Hawking, who could not say anything and they could attach anything to him. In a way, he's a fake scientist. And in that process, if you listen to all his work, even if you go and check, as we said, in the teachings of the Keshe Foundation, when we launched the third book, known as the creation of the universal creation of matter, and then the origin of the universe, he gave lectures titled Origin of Universe immediately after the publication of the book. We got to understand we have to allow the scientists who are in that position to be involved, to bring the knowledge, and in the future, things will be put right. We are entitled to teach. We are not entitled to stop. And try to understand the technology. If you are people of the influence in certain fields, try to explain it at least the correct way that it could be understood. In so many ways, try to understand the technology from space. Try to be open enough to accept every aspect of it. And I see and I hear a lot of old knowledge seekers insulting and using different language that the new ones, they don't even know how to make answers and they are teaching this and that. They don't need to. Just because you use a mobile phone does not mean that you know how the circuitry made and what it's made of. Knowing how and using that telephone to expand the knowledge to the others is important. As for some people, how to manufacture it is important. So I would like to resolve this matter because we see it coming up across Brazil in Italian organization, in the Iranian Keshe Foundation, in the Chinese Keshe Foundation. The old guard want to stick to nano coating and gas making and that's it. This cannot be. It's my responsibility to enlighten you all to come to this point, to understand it. We saw how Brazil Keshe Foundation disintegrated with this, that the old guard, we did so much, we made things, now is there. You lay the ground. You have the others to build on it. And at the same time, build more roads that the others can come up with the technology. And we've seen the same thing now in Italy. We see the same thing in Iran. People who've been there 3 years before, now they think they have is in charge of everything. This will not happen. Keshe Foundation is going on mass teachings in the coming weeks, and we'll get people who listen to the teaching and jump to the end part, not the beginning, and they serve better and bring the knowledge more. So it is the responsibility of all of us to look at the technology with open eye and accept all aspects of development in it. We've seen many people making a lot of claims that, oh, we taught Mr. Keshe and we did this and we did that. Let it be, as long as if they can teach correctly, it doesn't matter. The totality is to understand the interaction of the fields of the plasma. In the knowledge and in the extension of what we've been teaching for past few months, we talked about what we call the soul of the man. We talked about the understanding of the totality in respect to the soul and the physicality and interaction with the fields of the creation, be it the planet Earth. One of the things that most of us, as I showed last week in the reactors, in the what we call development of the energy with the 3 cores and with 2 cores and a single core, each one has its own beauty, each one has its purpose. And the knowledge of the creation of the physicality of the man, the knowledge of the creation of the tree, a plant, a stone, follows the same procedure. It is just how we, or how the soul of the entity decides to manifest itself. The mankind in a coming time will have the capability and ability to control its position and its possession. What can be its position and what would it like to possess within the interaction of the fields of the dimension of physicality and the soul of the man, the star of this creation. If you turn the whole thing inside out, you will have the physicality of the man. If you turn the whole thing inside out again, you have the soul of the man. And it's our responsibility to understand this process. It's our responsibility to be able that we are not chameleons. We are knowledgeable to understand the process of which one can move where. How can we manipulate the field forces through strength of our own soul, our own energies? Nobody else can. It is this solar system, because of the sun, creates so many planets and so many moons. Another star does not create anything, would like to be on its own. We see no planetary system with it. And then we have to understand how the planetary system are created. As we said in the original teachings a long time ago in the Keshe Foundation, we are dependent and we are part of the same process. If you look at what we call a planetary system, or if you look at the galaxy, or if you can look at the what we call in any shape or form, whatever size you take, we decide, and all the planetary system decides at that position how it might have, what it might have. As we go to the center of the universe, we see different kind of lives. As we go to the center of the galaxy, we see different kind of life. As we go to the center of the solar system, we see again different kind of lives, depending on the strength of, depending on gravitational magnetic fields emission and accommodating each other. In the center of the galaxies, we see a tighter pack of galaxies. In the same, in the center of the galaxies, we see tighter pack with solar systems. We do the same in our solar system. We see a tighter pack closer to the center. And how the fields increase or decrease dictates the creation of different planetary, and then the same, the moon. The same thing happens in galaxies. The same thing happens in the universe. And on this direction, the same will happen in Unicos, and the same thing will happen in a body of the man. This, then, for the first time for mankind, is important to understand how this works. At the outer boundary of the solar system, a little bit away from the sun, accommodates, that facilitates life as we see it on Earth. The same is in the galaxy. At the boundaries of the galaxy, we see physical lives more or less the way we see it, even though life exists in different shape or form in all of it. And then the same, the lives in the center of the universe exist, but allows different structure of life. But with the present knowledge, as this becomes to the man, man has the knowledge now to manifest itself at any point. Depends if you allow the soul of the physicality to overtake the physicality of the man, or you allow, as we see today, our soul to be encapsulated by the physicality. The whole teaching of present time is the transition between these two. How you allow your soul a strength to change to a position that it can overtake the physicality. The physicality is protected by the energies. And in this way, we become the passengers of the universe. We become those who will now be able to travel all dimensions. If we stay with the physical dimension, we have what is today the physical cars, the physical transportation, the physical manifestation. The whole teaching of the present time is for man to learn how to live with these dual field forces. And when you understand this, you have different structure and manifestation in different parts of the universe. In a way, you cannot manifest here in the same physical shape as here and in the same physical shape as here. Those who live in the boundary of the galaxy, yes, they manifest themselves as we might see in a galaxy and on the solar system. The field pressure, the strings pressure will not allow us to have the long arms and long legs and eyes and the rest of it, because we need different understanding, different field strength position. So when we travel with the soul of the man, when we manage to grasp the understanding and be able to create a position of the vice versa between the two, then we can travel the span of universe in no time. But the whole dilemma for mankind is how to understand this process. How to be able to move from the soul of the man to the physicality. And then when you manage to manifest yourself as a physical entity, then convert yourself and use the dimensions of the soul, and with different strengths, by in a way going into the inner sanctums of the field strength of the man, decide where you want to manifest yourself. But the process will be the same. You still absorb energy from the universe. You still have to give energy back what you don't need. You still have to find a position. You still have to communicate. In a physical dimension, we walk, we talk, we manifest ourselves in different positions on this planet. We get on the plane, we put that physicality into something, and we manifest ourselves in New York, in Tehran, or in London. But physicality hasn't changed, it still is there. But we have hidden it inside the aircraft, or we have put it on a ship. Now we have that capability that that ship, that aircraft, with the present new knowledge, becomes our soul. This is why it's so hard for many of you to grasp and to understand. You're happy to get on the plane and a few hours later get up from Tehran and land in London. And you have traveled. You put the physicality in another physicality with a higher speed than you can do. Now the teaching is how we put you in that position that you decide. You decide the aircraft. You decide the craft that will take you through the strength of what you control. You've never been trained to be a captain of a plane. Now you want to captain your own soul. This is where we try to open your eyes. We try to give you the option. The teaching in how to travel with the UFOs and the flying objects is there. Now we teach you how you can become the captain of your own soul, your own Messiah. I see in a lot of places writing, Mr. Messiah. Yes, I am a Messiah as much as you are a Messiah. Abuse of the terminology by those who are so weak is the way they confirm their existence. Many of you in a coming time will be able to do this. Then in that process of the conversion, you will see the light of the Creator, the knowledge of the Creator, and the deeper you go in that direction, the more you understand. Then you understand your Messiah, your own, what we call, captain. How many more passengers can you carry with you, or how many will join you in that trip? How many people can you enlighten? Now, when you reach to this destination in the center of the galaxy, there is somebody to share the knowledge with, to confirm your existence, that they come from the position and the time where you've been, that you can talk about, that you can develop more. And at the same time, bring other passengers of the universe with you. We used to get on a bus and we didn't know who sits next to us, but we all ending up in the same destination. With the teaching of the understanding of the soul of the man, now we can travel alone, but at the same time, when we understand the strength of the soul, there'll be others who travel with us. We don't know where they came from, but the destination point temporarily will be at where we are. This is part of the technology we have to understand to get rid of all the problems we have with knowledge seekers and the others to understand the technology. None of us was born out of the womb of our mother as a driver, as a pilot, as a train captain, what you call the director, and the rest of it. We train ourselves to become a pilot. We train ourselves how to drive. We train ourselves how to run. Now we have to train ourselves to understand how our soul operates. It's a new vehicle which we are captain of, and we were born with it. It's part of us from the point of inception, because its inception created us. Now, for knowledge seekers is the choice to understand which vehicle you would like to use. We all can go to the airport, get a plane, and land up in another city. But we choose to go with the train. We choose to go with a bus. We choose to drive. Now, there is another choice given to man. This time, if you could drive and it would have taken you 10 hours, it takes you 1 hour with a flight. Now, with the travel of the soul of the man, it gives you 1 minute. Nothing has changed. You have covered the same points from the start to finish. It's just you chose a vehicle. Now you had, maybe if you were not the passenger in the car, if you were not the pilots in the plane, if you're not the conductor in the train, you were the passengers sitting and then being taken to. This time everything is in your hand. The only thing is you have to understand how to control the system, how to be able to reach the understanding of, how to know where you want to end. And in that process, mankind will see new knowledge, new understanding of its own. There are no schools. You will make a lot of mistakes and you make a lot of errors and you make a lot of good things. You end up in places you never thought would be existing. But now we have to be able to understand the new process of creation. The switching, the elevation of the soul to overtake the physicality and the soul to become physical. There are chances, most probably many of you in the future will come to understand, is that you became a soul. And in another position, the same strength field of environment change your soul to physicality. You did not, you still wanted to be in a position and the strength of the soul, as you thought you're still on Earth, in the position of the galaxies and the environment of this universe. But in another universe, due to feel the strength of the environment, you materialize at the same solar strength. Then what can you do? Except if you have the knowledge of the creation, you go further in strength, that you keep the soul of the man in control to be the soul. You have to learn when to change gear. You have to learn how to change gear. You have to learn what position, what the strength puts you where. And there is no school in the universe for this job. We don't have universities, but the whole knowledge of it, the whole knowledge of the creation and position sits within the structure of the soul of the man. Enlightenment, understanding. and in trial and error to bring everything in a position to be. Mankind needs to understand how to convert. You don't become a chameleon, you become knowledgeable in the life and the ways of the existence in the universe. This is my job as someone who knows and understands, have been down this path for millions of years, to share the knowledge in the voice and the language of the man, in the strength and the soul of the universe. This is your job, to decide. And in that conversion between the soul and physicality, everything happens. If you extend the soul, wave, feel the strength through the body, physicality might change. You might not need anything that you thought you need. As I said to one of the knowledge seekers in the past, is when you put two magnets next to each other, you see them creating their own distance, creating their own positioning, creating the condition for existence in the attraction of their fields. But how many of you have seen liver, kidney, eyes, and everything else in any of the magnets? But they receive fields from each other, they receive fields from the environment of where they are, and depending where they come in, and where they might go, in what shape and form, but they process the energy fields transaction. This is what will happen to the soul of the man. This is why, if you look in all my work, in majority of the time, when I show you magnets, I always use a hollow system. Because it has a lot of similarity to the hollow soul of the man and the physicality of the man. But none of it has the heartbeat as a heart to be there, but it still carries a heartbeat. It doesn't have an eye, but it doesn't have a leg, but it positions itself. If two pieces of metal can understand this, get rid of the fields they don't like, position themselves in respect to the field of the man, what is wrong with mankind that doesn't understand this simplicity, that he can do the same with the strength of his soul? You don't need to walk away from someone. You understand the field, the strength of it, and you position yourself. This is what the new knowledge brings for mankind. This is what we try to explain that you understand. Walking, you can do. You still can have the legs and the arms, but if you understand how to operate through the soul of the man, you are no different than a magnet. You're no different than a star. You're no different than a galaxy in the solar system. This is what the new technology, the new knowledge should bring to man. And at the same time, you have the controller. The brain of the man stays in the condition of the brain of what you call the control, but does not necessarily will be in the shape of what you see as a white stuff in the skull of the man. It will interact and create the conditions of existence. We know this because when the souls come together, interaction of them leads to the creation of the brain. Brain is made up of the interaction of the fields. So when we have a stronger fields, brain can be there, can still operate, but now it operates in no dimension of physicality, and then you can travel the span of the universe, not being afraid of what environment I enter to and what I might change to. Because you manifest in a fieldless strength as a drop of rain in a given environment, and in the same environment and the given strength, different strength, you become the snow. And in a different strength, you become the water. And in different strength, you become a mist. But in totality, you're the same. Mankind in a coming time will face this as you travel different spans of the universe, different strengths of the universe, different position and condition of the fields in the unicos. Is in the writing, and it says, we test the fire with gold, and then we test the man, how it's made, by putting gold in front of him. A man should be from the fire to the gold to the man all the same, because he knows how to change the strength of his interaction with his environment. We become a fire. When there is a fire, we become part of it. We become gold as we understand the strength of the gold to become gold, and become a man as we understand the physicality of the man. But in essence, the fire, the gold, and the man are made of the same. It's us who decides the place, the position, the time, and the strength. In so many ways, mankind has to become alert of his own existence in two dimensions of the soul and energy. In the dimension of physicality and existence. In a dimension of observation, and in a dimension that he can confirm his existence. It's us who has to decide, I want to stay as a field and energy, as a plasma, and not to take shape, or I want to take shape at this point to see how it feels. Would it be the same if I sit in the sun on another planet, in another galaxy? Would it feel the same as I sit in the sun on Earth in our solar system, in our galaxy? Would I feel the same warmth? Would I see the same tan? Would I feel the beauty of the air? Or is it different in another place and position and solar system? Now man has the luxury to do this, if he understands it. It cannot be bought from a factory. It will not be produced in the Chinese manufacturing with a different understanding and the same thing to be manufactured in another part of the world. We do not have machinery for it. The machinery and understanding comes from the understanding of the inner knowledge of the creation, enlightenment. I cannot tell you Keshe Foundation tomorrow sells you a machine that can take your soul to the position. We can do. We have the knowledge. But how are you going to come back? Because on the other end, there is no machine to send you back except your soul. The old song, return to the sender. There is no such address. But there is no one to return to the sender, because there is no postman on the other end except your soul, except the knowledge of understanding of totality, the transformation between the energies and in respect to the inertia of the position, time, and the place. We don't teach ethics, we teach the knowledge of the creation. In a coming time, many clergies will have a problem with this. Especially on my return to Iran, we will see this. The opposition to the knowledge of Keshe Foundation will come within the clergy of the Iran, will come through the clergy of the Vatican and other religions. Because they understand monopoly of the soul sits with the man and not the book and another abuse. We are prepared for this. We are prepared to teach the totality, and knowledge seekers have to understand this, that the time will come that the clergies will put their hats down and they will start teaching the ethics of the true understanding of the creation as they become enlightened. But how do you change the physical man into the dimension of the soul? Dimension of the field. You have two choices, or maybe three, or if you are very knowledgeable, maybe four. As I explained to you a couple of teachings back, that you can enhance the body of the man to take a new dimension and a new position, and then reconstruct the physicality. If you remember, I'm going to become back that artist who knows nothing about painting, and I give you the lips, and I give you the eye. The soul of the man has taken its position. The soul is aware of the environment of the gaseous, the solid, and the liquid which it lives in. But in the dimension of the creation, he has what we call the plasma condition too, which is a field strength of the others. These are in the matter state. This is in a field state. Somewhere in conjunction with the plasma and any of these inertia, this plasma can take shape of any of the three. But in essence, if we feed the man the right field strength, be it through his digestion system, be it through his nose, we create a balanced situation field which can be at the strength of the soul of the man. You got to realize 2 points. That if you reach this point of being able to feed from what you take from the environment, by the law of the plasma, the energy within what you take must be stronger enough than the soul of the man that can feed the man, that he can elevate his level, that at a certain point reaches the point of elevation and passes the boundary of the man, and man becomes free. In the present science technology, the doctors tells you the heart of the man on average should work so many billion times in his lifetime, the normal life. So if you can calculate how many times each heartbeat has created the breathing of the lung and the food, and how much energy at what level is, you can estimate the time of the saturation of the soul of the man. That it becomes strong enough that it can take over the physicality and be called the point of death. In this process, man should be able to understand, have an idea, grasp the concept of this field in drips at a higher level, elevates the soul. Then it comes a question, are we getting, because of the pollution of the air, because of the bad conditions of the food, weaker and less energies, that this does not give enough energy to the soul to be able to create a point of separation. So we need to live longer to be able to reach the point of saturation. The transformation that the soul of the man can overtake the what we call soul of physicality, or circulation of the blood, which carries the soul of the man in dimension of field energy. This is what we call technological development. This is what we call the advancement in science, that man can live longer, and we have polluted the air, we have polluted our food, has created the weakest source of energies to elevate the soul of the man. So the soul needs to wait longer to reach that point of saturation, where in the past could reach much easier. As the extension of the life of the man, understanding the work of the plasma has come through the new technology, taking much weaker strength than it needs. So through this point of interaction, we can control the strength of the soul. But we can feed it in one end, but we have to encourage it to expand on the other side, to become physicality. We showed this in the situation with Naomi. We placed, as you call it, the helmet. We showed the soul, it has a new dimension and direction. And with the interaction of the blood circulation, we managed to create the brain cells again back in a position. But if we would have pushed the system beyond this boundary, mankind would have seen a new life within the structure where Naomi could transmute between the two. So in a way, if we choose a helmet, a position that can encompass the whole of the soul, the same as our skull, and then we introduce a control of the fields, we should be able to create a condition for the man to be able to expand the soul of the man beyond his physicality. This is part of the first trainings. In a way, if you understand, if you have the skull, you create a barrier, a system which allows the soul of the man to extend beyond the dimension of the physicality to the new position, while you are feeding it through a new position. In a way, you're using the brain of the man and a position and a place to control the extension of the soul. But this cannot be a physical helmet, because then you have what you had with Naomi, completion of the physicality of the brain, but no further. Mankind has to learn that the interaction of these two fields can create a new condition of the fields that goes beyond the physicality of the man and allows the soul of the man to take possession. But still, the brain man inside has a control of thinking and understanding. And in this position, the soul of the man and the physicality of the man becomes irrelevant in the matter state of its creation. It could be from amino acid of this planet, it could be from solid matter of another planet, another position. As long as the field interaction can be controlled and dictated by the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the entity, man or any entity can travel the span of the universe without manifestation, till the decision of the point of the soul of the physicality and understanding of the brain and the control system. Then you become independent of where you're born, independent of how you're born, as long as you can create this condition of understanding of the control of the totality in respect to manifestation of the physicality or the soul of the man. If you look, if you understand, in so many ways, I gave you this opportunity in the enhancement unit. This is why I told you many times, sometimes we shall see through the window the light, where that helmet becomes the structure of the soul of the unit, where the man sits within and his soul becomes part of the structure of the totality in the center. We allow the soul to expand. This is the purpose of the enhancement units, to take you out of the fear. When you want to drive, you don't sit behind, you don't sit in the chair in the living room and pretend you're driving and change the gear. And then you go and they give you a key and say, you can drive. You learn how to boom in the house. You go and you sit in the car. You take the car for a drive. You change the gear. You play with the clutch and the brakes. These enhancement units are that car, are that for you to learn how to extend and expand. This is the true essence why I introduced the enhancement unit. And from the beginning, I explained to you, sometimes you might see a light. Now you understand the reason. Now you understand the science and the technology behind it. Because when I expand the soul of the man beyond the dimension of the physicality of the man, where do you want the cancer to be? Or where you want to be fibromyalgia or MS? The field radiation going to expansion to dimension will eliminate, rectify, and clear all this. Then now you understand why you will not have any disease when you come out of the machine. Because now you understand the reason we introduced the enhancement unit, the vertical enhancement unit, the horizontal, and the rest of it. We are talking about a technology which is unknown to man. This is the technology of the universe. I am a man of universe. I created it and I live within the creation. You have to understand, for us now to explain how your soul will extend beyond the physicality is because now with the reactor system we built, we have created that hat. We have created the helmet we gave to Naomi, now in the size of the womb of the mother. In the womb of the mother, you don't carry a chair, but you still exist. In the womb of the mother, we can reach the soul, and in understanding to transmute the soul of the man to the outside, and then let it take the shape of physicality as it needs, as it'll see itself fit. In the new enhancement units we will use is the purpose of, in a way, as a delivery room for the soul, and then the child, when comes out, the size, the shape, the color, and what he needs to be loved by the mother and the father and the creation and the creator. You shall not see all this, what we see in the delivery rooms, the blood and the God knows everything else. But the mother has to have the presence of understanding of which way she likes to deliver, in the dimension of the soul or in the dimension of the physicality. In the universe, this is how we deliver. Mankind has used their own way. You deliver by the physical dimension into the environment of the earth. We deliver in the dimension of soul anywhere in the universe, where the time, the place, and the position is not important. The presence of both parents, the creator of the life, will allow totality of the life to be decided within the system. This is why we said, once you choose that path, there is no adultery. There is no other way to do anything, because the system is locked. Creation of child through the soul of the man is unique, and is the way it is in the universe. Once that child is created in his soul, there is no break in the bond. And anyone who touches it will receive what you call in the world of the man a balancing field. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. This is the principle of understanding of the new knowledge. That now with the enhancement units, we create this condition that we give birth as in the universe. Till man goes in the universe and uses the whole of the universe and unicos as an oyster. And there is no need for enhancement unit. In a way, you have a delivery room in the hospital, deliver the physicality of the man, or choose the use of the fields of the universe give birth in the universe or in the system which replicates its existence. The totality of the understanding of the knowledge depends on the intellect of the man according to what he understands of his own creation. There are no machines to replicate. There are no systems to be in the back of or plus to be inside of. If you look in the structure of the man, in the structure of the physicality of the man, many of you might have had a look at your mouth. And what do you see in the back of it? A dangling thing. We call it the small tongue. Have you ever understood the reason for this? And why is positioned directly and immediately below the soul? The position of your bit in the back of your mouth has a reason. You could be a man, you could be animal on 4 legs. Always look at the position of the soul and physicality. And then you understand why you stand where you stand. Every animal has a position and the strength of the material in one shape or another which replicates this part in the body of the man. Even in some animals, we see it not necessarily there, but as a pinpoint facing the soul. But man has never understood. In the worm, in the lizard, we see this. In man, we see it as a dangling tongue in the back of the throat. Each animal, each creature has decided to position that in respect to itself. We see the same in the vertical people, where their soul sits and where the, what I call extension of the conformation to physicality will sit itself. This is the knowledge that the scientists of the man have to find out. And if you could understand this, you can create any animal from interaction of the fields, be it the cow, be it the lion, be it the worm. The small tongue and the shape and position it in the back of the throat of the man, if you look, where does it look to? To the central gravity of the earth, where its interaction will create a position, direction, and physical condition of the man, where the fields reduce and you become thinner, whatever. This parallel position in a physical condition we'll teach about in the future. But in most of the animals, this point in the pointing up has been dictated very cleverly in the shape of a dot. It's a single cell which does the same thing, dictates the direction of the flow and the shape of the animal. In the position of the stone, sits within itself, directly inside the soul of the stone. So that's why we see no movement. it's the third condition of the existence in interaction with the inertia of the physicality, plus what we call the magravity of the environment. The knowledge of the man has to be at the level that understands the totality of the creation. In so many ways, we try to enlighten you. This is why in the teachings of past few weeks, I explained in a very, very nice way, in a very soft way, that we introduce material that you put it in the back of your throat, that you control both ways. In a way, by positioning such a system in a given position, as we discussed before, you in a way bring that point which is hanging in the back of your mouth in position to elevate the soul and disconnect from physicality. Then you can make this here of different strengths and different penetration fields to what the strength you want it to be. Now you understand the structure of the teaching. Now you understand how we are taking you slowly into the next step of understanding the science of the creation. When you take the position and you cut the line of the information carry to the physical end by placing a new entity of energy order here, you reverse everything back to the top. In so many ways, mankind has to understand, now has the ability, the knowledge and the technology to be able to create this. As I said, we used to take a tablet of cyanide to enhance the physical part and create the death. Now we take a tablet of the soul of the plasma and we enhance the soul of the man for man to take the same dimension, but in existence, not separation of the soul of physicality and the soul of the man. One is the sweet tablet of what we call enhancement, and one is the bitter tablet of the death, separation without physicality. This way, the new way, we carry the physicality and the soul of the man and soul of physicality together, because We sit within the framework of the brain of the man at its onset, at the bottom, where all the interaction of the fields of the physicality come into. In a way, mankind does not need a spine to behave life. Mankind can use even the nerve system through the jaw to do the same. Because in a way, if you look at the jaw of the man, it gives you that freedom over the physicality. You can control the whole functionality of the man through his jaw. Movement of the arms and the legs and the heart and digestion system. We have shown this years ago. When we brought the first coma patient out, the connection between the neurosystem of the brain and physicality was cut, was distorted. We went through the jaw, we repaired through the fields of the jaw, and then we connected the physicality by its own to its neurosystem. And even that time, we had a student, one of the doctors with us, had his daughter, who was becoming a scientist, attended to presence of the volunteer. And in coma, by fingers through the gum, through the jaw, she could dictate to the body what to move. Does not need me to be there. It was done by a young girl. This understanding the position that the nerves, the neurosystem of the man is part of the distribution of the soul of the man. In a smaller measure, contained and directed and channeled. This is why we always say, and you always see, the neurosystem and the blood vessels, the soul of physicality and the soul of the man always move along each other in the body of the man. And interaction of their fields leads, according to their strength and their position, to the organs and the limbs and the rest of the man. The potential difference in the strength of the gravitational and magnetical dictates the shape, the position, and the cell and the operation. In so many ways, understanding this, you understand how we even can extend the amputated toe or the foot or the rest of it. As now we make the physical prosthesis and then we let it be there. But if we can create the condition of the nerves and the blood vessels field interaction, the leg of the man, which has been amputated, can be put back in no time. If we can replicate the two in a given way within the structure of the physicality of the man. In space, we will not find man with one leg disappeared and cut, and they'll be in the space with one arm and two legs for the rest of their lives. Mankind has a knowledge to replicate. Now understand the purpose of the neurosystem and the blood system in the body of the man. The strength that heartbeat can pump dictates the position and the strength and the shape of the physicality of the man. Because the soul of the man radiates always the same. What comes from the dimension of what you call the field of the inertia of the planet in the interaction with the magnetic of the planet dictates if you look Chinese in one place and black in the other, and it's part of your amino acid and memory line. Does not matter where you go, you still be looking Chinese. Because your pre-programmed setup is dictated that position. But if I keep you as a Chinese long enough in a position of Africa, you'll become black and African looking. Because you came from Africa, originally. And by change and movement of the time and place and different tablets you put in your mouth as a food and different inertial gravitational field forces of the water and the mountains and the fields of the air you breathe, it dictated the shape and color of you that you could survive in that position. So it'll be the same with a man when you go to the span of universe. Interaction of the field of the soul of the man and the soul of physicality and the inertia of the place and time and the field strength of the place magnetic system will dictate how you will look. And if you need any kind of what we call disposal units like liver, kidney and the rest, the process of teaching how to make this tablet for man will come during our work and return back to Tehran. And in that process, we will teach how man will be able to reach the elevation of the soul of the man. This is why the enhancement units will be moved to Iran to show for the first time the light of the soul of the man where Mitra was born, where she came to earth as a soul and took the shape of the man in the physical dimension of the inertia and the gravitational field of the earth. It was forever the first time the whole universe could see the manifestation of the Creator as Mitra. A soul arriving, being memorized with the beauty of this planet, wanting to manifest itself in the dimension of physicality to enjoy the beauty of it and understanding the love which this environment creates and made it home where the Creator has taken place to be with Mitra. Up to then, Mitra was an energy, a plasma field. On Earth, she took the shape and the physicality of the position and the time, and the beauty of it brought the Creator to be as a love needed to be with the lover. And Mitra returns back to the point of the manifestation of his physicality to complete the cycle in the coming time. Understanding of the elevation of the soul of the man needs the soul of the man to be able to see at the soul level or a physical dimension. Those of you who elevate to understanding of the position and the strength of the soul, you shall see Mitra in the dimension and the direction of the soul. And those of you who still crave to stick to the dimension of physicality, the time will come that you will see. In so many ways, mankind needs to understand the process and the progress and interaction of the fields and the dimension of the soul of the man and the soul of the physicality of the man. And how man, to be the creature and the created from the love of the Creator, will manifest itself in any position and dimension. In time, we show you how to create that helmet of energy. And in time, we'll show you how to create that tablet. But till then, man should have understood how we came to show this. In a way, if you understood the teaching about the corona as a virus, in a way, you create that virus from inside, that energy pack from inside, that the interaction with the energies of the cell of the soul of physicality leads to the manifestation of the physicality to the eye of the observer in the dimension of the fields and energy transfer. In so many ways, if you understood the process and the teaching on how plasma and the strength of the amino acid of the man leads to the creation of the shape of the crown in what we call COVID or corona, then you should understand how to create soul energized from inside. That you release a higher order fields from inside the soul, that it becomes the cover and the connection between the soul of the physicality and the soul of the man, and the manifestation of the man in the dimension of the interaction of the environment. In a way, if you could release the energy of the corona from the strength within the structure of the soul of the man, you would have still seen the crown. But this time the energy comes within than coming from outside to interact, where you have the control. And next time, if you change the strength of the field released by the soul, you might not see the shape we see with corona, you might see monkeys, shape of mountains. And then we call the new virus mountain or something else which we relate the shape to. In a way, we release the plasma energy from inside, from the higher order strength, channeled through our own soul, where we have the connection and the control. Our job is to teach you how to release that energy to be able to transmute between the two energy fields of the soul of the man or the soul of physicality. In the coming time, we have no choice to teach you to move and extend the knowledge of the man to the next step, to the next level. The systems for it are in NITS. Many of you, when you go into the system, you will see the light. It's not that you have died, it's that you have managed to fit and allow the strength of the soul of the man to go beyond the boundary of the physicality. And in that switch point, you see the light. This is why many people who go and say that when they test, they've been through what we call crossing over, they have gone inwards, going toward the soul. And interaction of the soul of physicality and soul of the man has created that light. This is the light of the conversion. And if the soul of physicality still has connection to the physicality of this planet, you return, but you have made the trip. The light you see, that everything is peaceful, is the light where you move from one strength to another and you enter the dimension of the soul. In a way, you don't see with your eyes outward. You see with your eyes, with the strength of the eye of the man, inwards toward the soul of the man. But from now on, with the knowledge we have thought, you gain trust. You know which way you are going. You will understand with different strengths of the light. At this strength, when I see I'm going in, at this strength, when I see, when I feel I'm coming out. Mankind will have the power to do so. But because we have a central control we call the brain of the man in a dimension of physicality, we have always been stopped from that conversion. Mankind in the coming time will understand most of the transmutation of the field strength from the field of the matter state to the field of the plasma. And the difference between the two, the interaction between the two, at the point of the conversion and the balance, we call it the light, the flash of the light. In a way, book number 1. To go to book number 2, you go to transmutation of the light, transfer of the light, where we take you from the dimension of physicality to go towards the soul or the plasma. You see the light, you become the light. And the same when you transmute from the dimension of the soul to become to the weaker one, the same as what we see the earth. We enter into a different light. We know this is the light of physicality, and the other way was the light of the energy and the plasma. In a way, in a dimension of the physical man, we call it the sound barrier in a weaker strength. We will see the light when we hear the echo as a sound barrier. We see the light as a conversion of the soul of the man in which dimension? When we go over the speed and when you come back to the speed. The compression and the decompression. The speed of the interaction of the faster to a slower. One of the reasons that you see light, the daylight, is because the field of the higher order of the earth and the much higher order of the sun in interaction with each other create that light, that plasma. So shall be the same with the man. So shall be when the man goes from the dimension of the soul of physicality to the strength of the soul of the man, which is the dimension of the universe. Then you can tap into the fields of the universe and decide where that magnet sits and what other magnets move for it to create and have the present position or a new position as it needs or wants to have, with the permission and accommodation of the other fields within the pack. The knowledge of the transformation is simple. We cannot sell you a machine. It does not exist. But we teach you the knowledge that you can access to it. And in a simple basis to start with, we give you small helping units to be able to get you from crawling to walking. We give it a framework, which is the enhancement unit. In so many ways, the knowledge is complete. In so many ways, the understanding of the knowledge is complete. It's for the man to decide which part, where, and how he wants to achieve that position, place, and time. Many of you will understand this very soon. Many of you will come to comprehend the totality very soon. But the stepping stone for the man is the man in a dimension of physicality has to find peace with himself and amongst others. But there's the end of the war inside the man when there's the end of the war amongst the men. When you find peace within you, and with it, you transfer that to the others and create conditions for the other souls to become peaceful. We go for a commercial break and we come back. And we answer some of your questions depending on your enlightenment. If you're still entangled in the ganses and nano coating and whatever, or you have understood a little bit more where we can speak about the transmutation of the physical soul of the man and the soul of the man. Would you like to go to a commercial break?
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. I think that Dean has that lined up for us.
Hello, Dean. Are you there?
Hi, Mr. Keshe. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to sort out this end. With Rick's changed the position, I just need to sort out so that I can actually.
Do you want? I could play the video now if you wish. Yeah,
if you could, please, Rick. Yeah, if you have it present. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, let's do that. I am now able to. The system is back up and running where I'm at. Had a little glitch earlier. Okay, let's start the break and we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, welcome. Oh, just a second, I have an echo happening here. Welcome back, everyone, to the 383rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, June 3rd, 2021. Okay, Mr. Keshe, are you ready to take some questions?
Yes, I had a very good, interesting
just a second,
clearing the ears.
I have to change the setting here so I can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Hello.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear yet for some reason. Just let me.
Hello. Can you hear me? Hello.
Sorry, Mr. Keshe.
Hello.
I'm not
Can you hear
able
me now?
to hear in the audio for some reason right now. Just let me check a couple things.
Da, da, da.
Mr. Keshe, Justine here. We can hear you clearly. I think Rick's having a problem his end. He obviously something was saying.
Yeah, I think he's got echo back feed system.
Yeah.
It's feeding back to his system. Can you hear us, Rick?
Yeah, it's just that I have an echo and a bunch of issues happening
you
with
went
my
through
audio.
the whole commercial the same way.
Oh, really? Okay.
You had a bad feedback, yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
Don't worry. Are you ready? We had multitude of different problems today.
Yeah, I've never had so many audio issues, so I'm not sure what's going on there. My whole computer crashed at one point. So, any case, we have a couple of hands up. I have Mehran has had a hand up for a while, so I'll allow her to go first and see what she says. Hello, Mehran. Okay, maybe she mistakenly put her hand up, so we'll go to the next person. Louise, would you like to go ahead?
Are you sure you can connect them? Rick?
Well, as far as I know, it seems to allow a couple of other people to talk, see if they can talk. Salamia and SZ, can you unmute?
Yes.
Hello.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for all. You understand me. I am happy to start to teach for Bragadiru team from Romania and other newcomers about our science of soul, plasma science. I'd like to know now the question. Soul of physicality has electromagnetic field and soul of man only gravitational field or only magnetico-gravitational field? And related to this, the link between soul and of physicality and soul of man and difference between magnetico-gravitational field and electromagnetic field. I'd like to understand this because there are many misunderstandings and I would like to clarify for our team. Thank you very much.
Don't have any electromagnetic field. In a plasma field, we work only in field strength, and both the soul of the man and the soul of physicality have both gravitational and magnetical, giving and taking. The soul of the man does not just take. So each system has its own dual magnetical and gravitational.
Yes, it's clear. And electric field, how how
does not exist in the body of the man. We
no.
feel that what we call like electric shock, if you call it, or that kind of thing, but that is at the interface with the physical dimension.
I see.
We do not have, because electromagnetic is in the matter state, and in the body of the man we do not have a matter state, except in the bone structure and the center of each cell, which has a calcium.
Mm-hmm.
And that is within the structure of the physical matter state, but still in a plasmatic condition.
I see. Now it's clear. Thank you very much. I understood. Thanks.
Any other question?
Yes, we've got Ruthie. Sorry, we've got Ruthie with a hand up.
Yes, thank you, Rex. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for today's beautiful teaching. Your teaching let me link a lot of knowledge from Tibetan Buddhist. They're talking about the light, different color of light. And I think you are telling that truth, which like they are not normally to disclose to people. It's the very deep teaching about that part. It's beautiful. Actually, there's a book. It's about like talking about when people dying, like what they can see. They are talking about the light, the white light, and they are talking about different color of light. And then you go back to the matter world. And which light you see, maybe you go in a different world. Like you became even an animal, or you became something else.
Different light comes in understanding of our own position and possession, and interaction of the fields from our soul in respect to the emotion. In the physical world, we talk about happiness, we talk about sadness, we talk about everything else. In the dimension of the soul, we see happiness as a color, which means to me, I accept, it brings me joy. We have spoken about this before, that when we see other creatures of Creator, which they don't speak our language, they have no mouth, we see by the color of their interaction of the fields with us, what they have in their mind, what is their emotion. In the body of the man, we show the emotion with laughter. In interaction with another soul, we see as different kind of, in a way, interaction of the plasmas. And to us, this is common into what you call it universally. This color means joy. This color, I don't want to be with you. This color is, I want a distance. This color is, let's have a child. This color means, I love you. And it's understood by all the souls, because the strength of the soul in that level is the same right across the universe. So when mankind sees different light in the process of the transmutation between the soul and the soul of physicality, is to understand this light. It means I'm happy to be in this position. I don't want to be in that position. And gradually we understand this language, like we've been to school, that we can translate in the physical dimension of the man. And we have spoken about this in other teachings in the past.
Yes, actually, then I understand there's some teaching like when you meditate, you can see different colors of light. then actually that is our soul. We see the interaction field between our physical soul and our soul. And actually that is light means our emotion, right? We see
That's
the
how
color
it is. Yeah.
We
don't laugh. Huh? We don't have no laughter. I'm happy. But that color shows satisfaction. I accept it's something which I like. There are many, many other emotions which the man will come to understand, the colors, as you call it, which we never knew. And in the book where we show the gases, I explain that in a very simple way. We'll see what we call plasmatic colors. Any other question?
Yes, indeed.
Sorry, as we run into, we're back again with it. As we run into some problems in the break and commercial, I want to remind you that next week teaching will be on 7 o'clock p.m. Central European time.
Okay, thank you. I'll make a note of that and put it in the various social media.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we've got a question from, or a hand up from Gatwa.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Good morning, Dr. Gatwa. How is the beautiful land of Africa?
Oh, so far so good. Getting better. I have one question. In Africa, and especially in Kenya, where I live, I have seen when children are born, when they are very young, the small tongue, and I believe it's called uvula, swells when they are young. And usually they cut it. What does that do to their health and to their potential enlightenment?
A lot. It changes character. It changes character. Because that part, you're not talking about the tonsils. Tonsils, sorry, is different than the, what I call the hanging bed. When you change
that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. When you operated on it, you change the character.
So
we've seen this. Yeah, it is tradition. So you create that condition of the change.
Yeah, it may have been introduced by the by colonialists, maybe to dumb us down.
Maybe a change of character. We see this in I have given a talk, one lecture alone about this some time ago in one of the lectures, one part of it, that this part of anatomy has a lot to do with the physical creation of the man. And has a specific effect. Even if you cut it, you still have the field center of it, which was created by. This is what we are created out of. And if you look in the back of the throat, from the shape, you can talk and tell a lot about behavior and the anatomies of the man. It's one of the most crucial part, the connection between the energies or direction and realignment of the fields of the physicality. In the future, scientists will open it up and they will see. Because if you can fold it back in the direction of the soul of the man with what we'll introduce in the coming time, you will see the rapid change in the elevation of the position and the soul. We teach this in the coming time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you. In the coming months, we will teach in a progress to the doctors and to the scientists in the birth of a child without passage through the birth tunnel, especially when we feed the enhancement units. This needs very much the presence of both souls which have created the soul. And it comes as a combination of the two and cannot be touched. And as I said in the teaching, we'll need the presence of both creators. Even if one has died, the presence of the soul has to be done. You'll find out a lot in what we call not the physical death will come to change a lot. We teach this to the doctors and the physicians that a new process of the birth can take shape. But for that kind of birth to be, you need to go through the new way of understanding of the creation of the soul first, and then the physicality. Not the present time as the man creates the physicality and then the soul by the interaction of the sperm and egg. It's a different way of creation. Is not as man has chosen to be, and those souls, you have the chance and the ability and the option to be born either way, in the dimension of physicality or dimension of the soul. Any other question?
Okay, we've got a couple of questions in the Q&A. Doug had a question, is the tonsil the dangly bit at the back of the throat? And what results come from tonsil?
Tonsils are different than this bit.
Right.
What I call the dangly bit. Because in the English language, we have a terminology for it, but in different languages use different words and different impressions and expressions for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Antonio has a question. Thank you again for this beautiful teaching. My brain has exploded to the possibilities, and I'm looking forward to my soul expanding beyond my physicality. My question is there a boundary to our soul, or can it expand beyond the known universe? And is there a copy of the report from China on the virus?
A copy of the report from China will be released only in conjunction with what we are doing in Iran. It stays within the structure of the Keshe Foundation. No, will not be released because it creates more problem for us outside than inside. We'll do it in a different way, the correct way, through governmental channels. It's the property of the Keshe Foundation in Austria, and it's been done by the Chinese Keshe Foundation team, and it will not be released in public.
Okay, then the first question would be, is there a boundary to our soul, or can it expand beyond the known universe?
Can I ask you a question, Rick? I think you can answer this. If I remember correctly, you said what attracted you to the foundation, that one atom of hydrogen can expand to cover, you remember?
A cubic meter, basically,
or
a meter radius at least.
Or the whole of a solar system.
Well, yes, and literally the fields, if it is able to go even a meter, there's always another hydrogen atom within that meter, according to science. Even in the vastness of space, and when there's very little of anything, there's always a few atoms. So they're all connected. They're the soul of those atoms are all connected. They're like one thing.
Yeah, but the soul, single soul, can cover the span of the universe.
Right.
If it has the right strength to be able to surpass and bring those to be part of it, not to take over. That's the soul of the creator, if you look at it. One single soul can encompass the whole, doesn't need to be just expanding beyond the physicality of the man. If you reach the knowledge and the love of the creator, your soul can cover the span of the universe, which is in a way what the creator is. So there is no limit in the size and expansion of the soul.
Does it learn all of the knowledge of the earth first before the knowledge of the universe? Does all that become accessible?
In that expansion, the knowledge of the universe, which is within the soul of the man, which is the totality of the knowledge of the creator, is present.
So you can go direct. You don't have to know all the knowledge of the earth first. You can go direct.
It's already there. There are no schools and there are no universities to teach you because it's there. It's like an RNA. You don't create a special school for DNA to create a kidney or the liver. It's within the knowledge. It's the interaction of the fields which creates that kidney. That's what it's got to do. We don't have divisions and factories to create kidney or liver or brain. Interaction of the fields has given the strength, create that liver that the body needs to store information and energy. So it's the same. When we come to the soul of the man, it's the same. Within the soul of the man is the structure of the, what we call the whole knowledge of totality of the creation.
Okay, I'll remind our attendees that you can put up your virtual hands, and we'd love to hear from you. And let's see, we have a question from Ram in the YouTube. In a recent interview, Mr. Keshe spoke of success in corona care in Iran. Did he use the cup of life or the universal enhancement unit?
He only uses a cup of life. The same as you do, the same as what they did in China and the rest of the world.
Okay, we have a question from Lizzie in the chat here. She says, thank you for the love you always give us. First question, we are made up of 7 rays, which are? So she wants to know what are the 7 rays?
We are made of many rays.
Not necessarily 7 exact categories.
No.
It's us humans that like to put things in nice, easy box to
framework. Yeah, that's where we can understand. Yeah,
that's the whole school system is like that. Grade 1 is grade 1, and grade 2, grade 3, etc. But life is not necessarily so neat and tidy. She goes on to the second question. You said that at least 7 human beings who elevate their soul will help the elevation of the others. is it a relationship with each ray that constitutes us?
Depends what you call a ray. We call it a magnetic field strength. And our magnetic field strength in different positions, in interaction, different strength fields, creates different colors or different rays, the strength of the vision of the man, if you want to call it. But in essence, from the beginning to the end, it's the same. Depends which place and what position and what strength you observe that ray.
Okay, we have a question from SZ.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. I'm speaking to you guys from Australia.
Australia, yes. Good evening to you.
I spoke with you a couple of years ago about Hashimoto's, and tonight you mentioned something that was a little bit alarming to me. You mentioned something a couple of years ago that people have root canals. They might have problems as such that might cause Hashimoto's or autoimmune diseases and so on and so forth. I actually had a problem with one of my premolars. And my question is, people who have had problems with their molar tooth or the wisdom tooth, if they go and extract it, are they going to have problem with the issue that you were mentioning? You were mentioning something about jaws tonight that that can control the movements in the body and so on and so forth. Will that cause a problem for them? That's one question. The second question that is related to that is I had a problem with one of my premolars, and I had to go to emergency, and they said it's infected and it requires a root canal. And they were looking at my root canals, and they said the molar tooth, which is all the way in the back, had a root canal, and that root canal has been infected. As a result, from the bottom has moved to the other one, is affecting the rest of your teeth. And I was wondering, first of all, if they're suggesting, the biological dentists, they're suggesting you need to remove all the root canals. I have 6 of them already. And if I remove that molar one, then I have to put a denture because there's no way I can put anything else. Is there a way that then one can actually drain the infection through plasma technology?
Yes.
And can you please inform me? I would not, I might not have enough knowledge to understand, but if there is anyone that I can go to, and of course.
Let me explain. This comes into the medical application.
Yeah.
And we try not to go into it. But there is a combination of gases which you can use. Even the root canal infected can be corrected.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there is, you can do. And you can, even in a painful position, you can use the gas plasma technology to stop and change it. We have the knowledge. The knowledge sits within the structure of and it's been used many times. I advise no one what to do, because then, as you've seen, we run into a lot of problem.
Yeah.
With the others. But yes, look into the gases, and yes, it can be done. And it actually is very effective within minutes. And it has to be used outside and inside in the gum and outside the gum. And the whole, how you use it, what mixture you use, will affect it very, very effectively. I've seen a couple of minutes to interact. Even people with excruciating pain and infection, doctors cannot find anything after 2 days.
What about the people who are extracting their teeth? Will that have an impact on the jaw? You were mentioning something about the jaw today, that it controls the body's movement and so on and so forth. Will that have an impact on the functionality of the body or the soul?
No, it's in a way it's just the way the information is passed throughout the body. We can do, it's a neurosystem control. There is a philosophy in the world of medicine in some branches that they tell you that each tooth is connected to one organ or one part of the organ of the body of the man. And that sits within, so you can control it through there.
I see.
This knowledge is very deep. I use quite a lot, but unfortunately with where we are in teachings and the channels of teaching we use, we cannot do so. But once we go into the total, what we call Keshe Foundation TV channels, a lot of things will be taught on the television line where we don't teach on the YouTube and the others that can bring other problems for us. Okay. The teaching will change quite a lot. We can go in more depth with the television, our station, having a permanent house in, what do you call, that we can teach and we can present live teachings, yes. We don't need to rely on the YouTube and others that they can create us problem.
I understand.
You can use this again, you can use the gases for different applications of even the infection within the organ of the body of the man.
Were these the same 4 ganses, main ganses that we use?
Partially, different? But no, they're different, yeah.
They're different, okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I hope we can keep your teeth and your tooth.
Oh, that's great.
The root exactly canal
what I want. Because I'm in a situation that I have to make a quick decision, and I was very hesitant to do it because I don't want to put a denture and losing all my teeth, because that's what the biologic dentist is.
But you got to understand what was used for your root canal and how it was done. Root canals get infected when they have access to the opening outside through your gum, by the side of your teeth usually. And you can use the same passage to use the plasma technology and the field transfer to get rid of the infection. I've seen people with a big cavity of infection at the bottom of the root canal, and within 2 days, doctors can't even find out where it is and how it was there. So it could be a mistake. But actually, the pictures show there was an infection there.
What about the tissues surrounding the roots, actually?
You repair them.
If they're infected, will that also take care of the surrounding tissues as well?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
The reseeding of the gums can be done. I think Howes from England was telling us that a few weeks ago, that he uses some sort of gases of COP1 and is uses for so much, and his gums and teeth have changed. It's in the teaching. Let's speak to Howes, see maybe he can give you an idea.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Sorry we cannot be open. If we were in the studio, we could shut down the YouTube and the other channels. I would have taught you directly.
I totally understand. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Look into COP 1 and 2 and understand the work of it.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. when you use ganses, always when it comes to position of the tissues and life and like plants and animals and whatever, always use it in conjunction with the amino acid of itself. Like when you use cup 2, use the amino acid on top of it. And because of high level of copper content, field strength, and the tissue of the man be made of the copper, that's why it's red. Then you find out the interaction very fast. And in a way, as we have seen in the surgical world, the copper is one of the best disinfectant in repairing or used in the what we call operating rooms. Nowadays it's become fashionable that the operating rooms are made of all copper plates. But the reason for it being is that the copper in the immediate use oxidizes, and part of its oxidization creates nano layer, which become barrier to all germs, and that's how it works. So when you use copper content ganses, you create the same position. And just because you add the amino acid to it, you link to the body of the man. And if you yourself have used or produced the cup number 2, you'll find out the interaction is much faster with anything which is living. I hope you understood.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
Well, I'm just having a look here. It looks like you've gotten the YouTube questions. Let me just have another look here. From M. Vicken in the YouTube mentioned that we need more practical examples in order to understand exactly plasma technology.
Go to CERN.
Go to CERN?
Mm-hmm. They play with plasma.
Is CERN useful to actually learn about plasma, or is it a whole different?
The human plasma is the way the plasma we talk about is totally different than plasma the scientific world at the moment speaks.
Is there in the more advanced plasma technology teaching, would that include the things that they do?
See, as long as you define the way they do with the plasma as singularity of fields, you have a problem. When you speak as a plasma with Joule, gravity and magnetical, then you have understood the true essence of plasma. This is a problem we have between the plasma we explain and plasma they explain in the world of physics.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? The world of science doesn't consider the gravitational fields of the plasma. They always look at the expansion of the fields of it and how they can expand it or open it. But they don't understand they have to feed the gravity for it to feed the plasma to control it. You control the easiest way to control a plasma is through this gravity than through its magnetical. But the present world of science chooses the magnetical by compressing or opening it.
Okay.
Anything else?
Let me see. Back to the questions here. Alfred had asked, is the corona test with the swab in the back of the throat in any way related to what you enlightened us about the inside of our mouth?
What does that mean?
He's trying to relate the swab test for corona in the back of the throat, and maybe that's something to do with the dangly thing in the back of the throat, and maybe there's some interaction there. I'm assuming that's what his question is about.
The thing is, you got to realize there is a lot of pushes in the present testing to put the swab in your nose or the back of the throat. Officially, a lot of government, lots of laboratories can do the back of the throat. They don't need to go into your nose every time you want to do the test. So you can stop that kind of, some people say it's very painful or whatever. A swab from the back of the nose, as we've seen, is acceptable by most of the governments. You don't need, especially now that the restrictions are coming down and it's just on the swab test. A lot of laboratories, they understand if you got the infection in your nose, through the back passage goes to your throat, to the back of your throat. So when you do the throat, they actually cover both of them. And some laboratories, you can ask, because I know a lot of people start moving and they see this as a problem. They say it's very painful. You can ask the laboratories which they do the blood test or the swab in the back of the throat, and is acceptable by laboratories.
Okay, Dan has a question. I'm trying to translate the English. It says, changing the position of the tongue towards the soul, and the physical soul is variable to the maggraph fields like the star formation.
What does that
mean? I don't know. He needs to clarify the English better on that. I don't understand that. Maybe he means putting the tongue toward the roof of the mouth might make it more like a star formation. I'm just guessing, I don't know. Second part, vocal cords vibrate due to soul or tongue position or emotion.
What? Can you repeat that?
Vocal cords, voice box, vibrate due to soul or tongue position or emotion? Question mark.
Combination of. Combination.
Okay, fair enough. I have a question from Wolfgang, who says, hello, Mr. Keshe. My name is Wolfgang. I am from the German-speaking group. In a previous workshop about a year and a half ago, you talked about a ring being formed around the Earth, which was completed in 2020. My question now is, what is this ring made of and why was it created? What does it do on Earth? Thank you very much for the answer.
We talk about this in depth in the coming time. We are setting to create a condition of the change of the soul of the planet in what has been the shortfall and what has not managed to transfer energies to its inhabitant that has brought this present situation.
Okay, James has a question in the Q&A. It says about teaching ethics. Is telling someone to follow the 24 commandments ethics? And if not, what is?
In a way, yes. In a way, it sets up all you need, if you understand it. Because the ethics of the 24 commandments is the ethic of the soul of the man, translated in the dimension of physicality. And so it does not need to be anything else. Any other question? Can you hear me? Or you cannot find any more questions?
Sorry,
Keshe,
my
there are
microphone was
a
off.
number of hands up. There's Kay's got his hand up. Would you like to
Pardon?
see Kay? Kay has his hand up.
Yeah, it's a little hard to hear you there, Dean.
It says Kay has got his hand
Kay
up.
has got his hand up. There's a couple of hands that have come up. I was just reading a question from Ginger as the hands are going up there. So perhaps I just finished with that first.
Okay, read the question.
She mentions that she saw a video of a successful fertilization of an egg the moment that a spark of light of 500 billion atoms of zinc appeared. Why, she says, would that, I've heard about that before, that at the moment of fertilization, there's like a spark that happens, and apparently related to zinc, or perhaps zinc oxide.
It's the level of the emotion and the soul of the man. Don't forget, zinc is one of the encapsulators of the soul. You have the zinc, that's why we use a lot of zinc in what we have, the brain damages, because it's part of its constituent of the physical structure.
Billions of sparks of light.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Kay. Then we have Ed and Azar.
Good morning. Can we hear me?
Yes. Hi, Kobusjon.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe. This is Kay Kobus from London. God bless you. Beautiful teaching. There's questions which I've thought of about the small tongue that you've been referring to. Just wanted to understand if the small tongue, you can actually use it to expand soul. As you just said, if you were to point it backwards towards the soul, could we transfer the energy from the small tongue to the soul by holding in that position? And I'm sure we have all experienced and observed sometimes when you breathe, there is sound like as if you're holding your little tongue stuck at the back of the throat, so pointing backwards. I just wanted to know, does that little tongue carry quite a lot of energy from our physicality where we could divert it back to the soul for expansion? Thank you very much.
This is used quite a bit by what we call understanding of it. We can use the tongue, what we call the small tongue, how to divert and control energies. We've seen that and we explained that in the case of most of the people who create what we call epileptic attacks. How they channel the energies from the brain, from the dimensional direction of the soul into the dimension of physicality. And then becomes the information which cannot be translated, and then it becomes what we see as an epileptic attack. Any other question?
I'm not sure if Ed has a question. Sorry about that. Gotta watch the buttons I push tonight. Ed, your microphone is open. Would you like to go ahead?
And good morning. Good morning, Mr. Keshe. This is Aza. Since you spoke about uvula, and my question is, now, if we cut everybody's tongue and nobody has a tongue, we still have sound of creation, which is like we can create sounds. We call it sound of creation. So o. So when you create this sound, and then you use the rapid breathing with the change of direction of the fingers with each sound, does this a possibility to reach to the position of releasing a soul? Because my experience tells me, I started to practice this sound in the beginning. So when you sound like ah, you don't use the tongue, but the sound was very limited. Now with practicing, this sound can go very with a high pitch, and it can go very, very for a long time. Even with your breath changes in a way that you can hold your breath, you can exhale or inhale, and you hold it for a long time. So is this a way to kind of open the gate that the soul can take over the physicality? Because with the combination of the sound, with the rapid breathing, something happens. A light starts to appear right in your forehead when you close your eyes. So is this the way the soul is released? Is it, I'm trying to figure out, am I in the right direction?
I'm going to answer you in a very strange way, or in a very correct way, maybe. I don't think any one of us, or very few of us, has seen as many of a small tongue as you as a dentist. Every time you open the mouth, you see it. And from now on, try to, when you look at the mouth, try to see how you characterize the person with the shape of the small tongue. And then you can literally define how a man feature and then guess or decide in how they will be. Or as you know them, this is the shape of the small tongue, and in how the physicality and emotion manifests itself in reality, in the physical dimension.
And Mr. Keshe, talking about uvula and a patient, what I noticed when patient open the mouth, some patients' uvula is constantly moving like it's just the same way their tongue will move, and some people is more like quiet, like is steady. So I noticed that difference, but I haven't paid attention to the shape of it yet, but I will try.
I think if I was a dentist, I should be able to tell many things by looking at it. Even you should see certain structures, and you can ask your patients if they suffer from such a problem. With the back structure of the mouth, you see a lot of things, it gives you a lot of indications and understanding. And don't forget, the Chinese are very good at it. The Chinese doctors, when they look at the tonsils and the little tongue, I call it, they can tell you a lot about the character of the person and how things are. Is the knowledge which we have ignored in the West, but some doctors in the East work by it.
Mr. Keshe, talking about, I mean, as a dentist, I mean, I'm understanding the plasma now. I really, I mean, looking at the uvula is one thing, but when I start talking to the patient and look into their eyes and the way they talk, I can already know who they are, because it gives me a lot of, because before I couldn't do it, but now I can just read through the patient. I mean, read through anybody talks to me, because you understand the plasma, you understand the emotion, you understand the field, the way they move their hand, the way they talk, the way they stand, the way they gesture. All this stuff tells me a lot about them. But then now, one thing you said about Chinese people, my Chinese patient, very, very different than American patient. Why? Because when they sit on the chair, they're actually very, very different. The minute they open their mouth, they're gone. I mean, it's much easier to work on Chinese people than American people, because American people are all over the place. Their tongue constantly going everywhere and it gives you a hard time. But Chinese people, the minute they open their mouth, as if they're dead, I can just work on them very easily.
Yeah, that's what you say in the dentistry. It's the logo of the Manchester University Dental School. But we are not used to in the West. A couple of years ago, Wang Lin and I, we went to a scientific exhibition in Beijing. And they have a machine that looks at your tongue and tells you all the problems you have. It's automatic now. It's just like actually like a sitting enhancement unit. You just sit and you open your tongue, your mouth, and the shape and everything, and then you go to a doctor, and the doctor tells you what has been diagnosed by the machine. Wang Lin, you're in the background. Would you like to talk about it? Because you did that test.
Actually, Chinese has a lot of knowledge for the traditional medicine to watch you from your tongue, from your little tongue, and your face, your hand, this kind of things. But I am not good at it. But actually, they last time we were in the exhibition, right? They have this machine, because to diagnose with this so many knowledge is so like so much rely on the expertise of the doctors. Some doctors need to practice years to can diagnose by touching your wrist for the pulse, for the blood pulse, or this, or actually we have a lot of teaching now. Just only can watch the shape of your tongue to know which part of your body has problem. And
but they are computerized now, haven't they? A computer does it faster.
Yes, that's much faster, because for personally to do it, you need a lot of expertise, practice, and to understand. But now they have this kind of program and computer scan and can told you that. Yeah, it's amazing.
Mr. Keshe, talking about the Chinese, what you asked Lynn, my husband studied that, so he can tell from the ears, from the eye position of the eye, the lips, the nose, everything in the face, what kind of a person it is. So one time I want to hire a lawyer in Peru, so I took him with me. So he looked at the lawyer, he said he's a good one because his ears are like this. So he was actually, he turned out to become a good lawyer. But then he was looking at son of the Giuliani on TV. Son of Giuliani, his eyes is very close. Then he said, this guy cannot tolerate other people. So when the eyes are so close together, they come toward the nose together. He says these people are not intolerant of other people's opinions, so they lose their temper very fast. So he really knows a lot. Anytime I want to do something with someone, I ask him, what should I do with this person? Should I work with him or I shouldn't work with him?
Yeah, you use your mobile, what do you call it, husband, information bank. Yeah, but the knowledge of the tongue, the small tongue, is well studied by many cultures and is not something new. But we always looked at the shape of it. Now we understand we can use it to elevate the soul, but we need to understand that process.
But actually, Mr. Keshe, we think we are lack of this small tongue. We have a lot of books telling about even what others talk about the shape of the ear or the tongue and or your hand. But we don't have a book to describe about a small tongue. So maybe you can write down that so you can add on.
There's
the
no
knowledge.
book number 10 for the small tongue. No.
Lynn, if you've been in Tibet, in Tibet they have, or China, they have these balls, they call it singing balls. Actually, with those, they do a lot of things like that too. It's not about the shape, but they make the sound that with that sound, you change the vibration of your body. For example, if you hold a ball over your belly and you create the sound of creation goes through your belly and vibrates through the whole body and change the vibration. And then when I was there, I figured it must be with the magnetic or gravitational field of the body, because, when the sound started, when the guy started sound, I opened the tears. My tears came down. So did my daughter's tear. We both started to cry. So the guy says, okay, it touches something in you. It has to do with this rhythm. So they have a whole pattern of the sound with the rhythm, with the singing ball.
So where did you feel it in your body?
When you buy a ball, which is called a moon ball, you put it on your belly and you sound it. Actually, huge vibration goes to your belly, and it goes through from the center of your belly, goes to everywhere and opens up something.
Right.
And
but what about chanting that might have certain vibrations that would actually vibrate the, what is it called, the amygdala, or the little dangly thing in the back of the throat?
Chanting, I think, is another thing. Chanting with the certain words create, for example, in India, different gurus, they have different chanting. It definitely has some effect with the sound, which is specific for that guru. But the singing balls, actually, they have classes, and a very ancient thing in Tibet and China, and is a huge, market for them. Actually, tourists, when they go there, they buy it. It has, actually, you have to take classes if you want to change the vibration of each part of your body, and it really works. But this is an ancient knowledge, which is like, I just got to know it now.
So which one is for the amygdala then? Is there a certain size bowl or a certain technique to vibrate that part?
I don't know anything about it because my knowledge is very limited on the singing bowl.
Here, the singing bowl is that a different size of a ball, and they use a wood and turn it around and it vibrating. Is that what you are talking?
Have you seen a singing bowl? They have two kind of handling for it. One, it goes inside the ball, you go inside the ball. One is outside, and the sound are different. And as I said, the first time the guy was trying to show it to us, when he created sound, he measured with the device. And then when he created one sound, both myself and my daughter, our tears start to come out. It says, okay, it touches you in a certain way. So this needs to, a certain emotion is coming out of you. So with this can be released.
Yeah, so you mean it's that bowl? Because I know in Tibet there's a bowl can a different size and can have a different sound. And even I see a video, people even use it to make music. And of course, it is a different vibration, touch different chakra and different emotion of people. And also for the chanting, each time when I go to the temple or something, when the whole group of people are chanting, I can feel my body starting to get hot. It's like the vibration is so strong, and that light is so different frequency. I can see high energy just directly go through your body.
Yeah, you correct, Lynn, because I did the chanting in India when I went for the 8 days, just be silent and don't look at anybody or see anybody. When we did chanting for like 2 hours, the same thing over and over in a certain way of sitting, the the spinal cord with where the neck comes up to the C1, it gets so hot and gets so, something happened there. It get kind of a, I think it was like a kind of a blockage there. Suddenly my whole body went to convulsion, and the convulsion created a whole shaking of my whole body, and then my head moved forward, and I had to, and kind of a, it's kind of a light illuminated from my forehead, but I just had to come out of it, and then I had to start over. But then when it gets to the certain point, again, it's stuck at that same point where the neck, where the C1 is, and the same thing, the convulsion, the whole body happened. But I really didn't know what to make of it. But it was happening for almost every day.
That's interesting.
We had a comment from Doug about throat singing from Mongolia and Tibet is amazing, he says. And also there's Aboriginal singers from Northern Canada that do that as well. And that, I think, would be something that vibrates that center, that part of the throat, that the amygdala, basically. And is the amygdala what people have called the so-called throat chakra? Maybe instead of the vocal cords or the actual throat itself, maybe it's that that organ that they're referring to. Any ideas, Mr. Keshe? Allowed us to kind of ramble on here.
No, it's good to understand different opinions, to listen to different opinions, and has to be shared. And many of us try and experiment different things. And you see many ways, different races of man have achieved the same thing, but chosen a different path of achieving it.
Well, we've got one man who's done lots of experiments here by the name of Jalel. Perhaps he has his hand up, so perhaps he has something to say about the topic. Go ahead, Jalel.
Thank you, Rick. Good day, Mr. Keshe. By your explanation about the soul and what is the extending of the life take place in this condition? If the purpose only to...
What are you talking about? Explain yourself first.
Okay. You said the most important thing that we create a soul, and this soul comes out of interaction, physicality, and the emotion. And when this soul gathered strength, it can leave the physicality. Like we talked a lot in that in the past, Mr. Keshe. It's like a cocoon. So this physicality is a cocoon to this butterfly to mature and go out of this cocoon. So what is the purpose of, in reality, what's the purpose of extending the life in this case? Or it's not the matter here. Enhancing the way of the life, enhancing the way of the knowledge that when if needed to work with in the space, the soul, it can handle it. Is it lack of information in this case?
The truth is, when we talk about extending life, the life in the universe has never changed. we all have the same age. Be it the man, be it another star, be it the galaxy, be it the universe. Our time, our source, our essence of creation is the creator. So we all have the same age. None of us is older or younger in respect to the true essence of time. Because we are all created from the essence of the same origin, the same time. The creator wasn't created in parts and then you are part section 1, part 2. But we are manifested at a given place, position and strength for a certain time of visuality or observation by the eye of the man. Otherwise we are at that length, we're just carrying on. And we're just physically visual at this point. And this is the reality about our existence. But we want to say extend life. We want to extend life at this position for how long? But in essence, we came from the Creator. And from interaction of many fields, he ended up with us at this position and time. But in totality, we are the same continuation of. If you look in a galaxy where the center is here and Earth is somewhere here, or our solar system somewhere here, so the extent of the life has passed us and is growing that way. So in true essence, from the center, we are the same. We came from the same origin, we still have the same reality of time and place, where our time is the creator and the place is within it. But where from that point of creation we are positioned ourselves, and what do we see in that position? If the Earth is here, or our solar system is here in the universe, how does life look for those who are here? But what is on the other side that position this one on the edge of it? Because these field forces of other universes have to block the movement, or they have to retract the disk and carry on with its expansion. But the time the reality comes is this the creator, or what we call the creator, or is this, including what is the other side, is the totality of the creator? Do we have a creator of our universe? Do we have a creator of our galaxy? Do we have a creator of our solar system? Or do we have one creator which has created the totality? And so we are all from the same source. Has no time, because we all have different position, but time is the same. This field at this point was part of the creator at the point of inception. It's not coming from somewhere else. So time is meaningless in a bigger essence of creation, is the position and the strength which that has taken to become manifest itself in that position and place, and the strength. Because you could have this strength in the edge of the universe right here at the beginning of time. Depend how many collisions he had and what the strength he was released at. So it's not exclusive. And we could have the same strength anytime across this span and within this boundary. Zero time, zero positioning. This is part of the defense technology. We don't look at what we send. We look at the span of time which we have created and can bring all the same. In a way, when you have a rocket coming towards you, is standstill, it doesn't exist. Because it's you who expands inside beyond it and it becomes part of you. So what is life? Why do we want to extend it? Because itself is part of everlasting, ever existing. We just want to expand this by a few years where we are in that framework to be more physical. Or with what we taught today even, you have learned you can make sure that you can exist in all dimensions. Then you are always living and you always exist. Is the fountain of youth the true essence or the reality about existence through the soul of the man, not the physicality? Because you ever stay young, because you're as young as where the creator started, because you are part of the original rays and the fields of creation. I hope I answered you.
Yes, Mr. Keshe, thank you very much. It's a clear, little bit clear now.
A little bit more. One step at a time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Shall we call it a day? Or do you have some more questions?
Got one more, perhaps, with Ed has a hand up here, and he's been waiting, so perhaps he can go ahead.
Good day, Mr. Keshe. This is Ed from Indiana. I have a question. I'd like to understand more about the heartbeat that you talked about in our last Knowledge Seekers workshop. Not the physical heartbeat, although I'm sure that's related, but the heartbeat of the soul and the heart, and tuning to the different heartbeats of where we want to go and the different entities and the different universes and stuff like that. Is the heartbeat dependent, or what is the heartbeat dependent on? Let me just ask that.
It is the balance field between the gravitational and magnetical in respect to given environmental condition and heartbeat. Our heartbeat is what it is, but is conditioned to the heartbeat of the earth and conditioned to the heartbeat of the solar system. If we change the heartbeat of the solar system, the sun, our heartbeat will change because it has to interact different way. In a way, it's a blood pressure, if you call it. So it's but that pressure is a magnetic field pressure, not what I call physical pressure. We create a heartbeat very easy. And we can change the heartbeat very easy. It's part of the arsenals of the Keshe Foundation in new technology. We don't teach it. We stay away from it because it can be used the wrong way, but we control. We have a very much say, and knowledge seekers are learning more and more how to control it. When we say in Iran in the next 12 months we can travel to moon, it's not that we're going to build huge rockets, huge launching pads. No. We go to the essence of creation. How we understand this and how fast we can control it and how we can manipulate it to create a condition of.
Is our ascertaining of the heartbeat, is it a perception of a rhythmical occurrence, or is it a perception of a strength?
Is the interaction of different strengths in magnetical and gravitational crossing point. It's very much if I explain to you where you find the surface of the earth and then the gaseous layer. It's a change in the heartbeat of the plasma of inertia.
So as I think about...
we got to realize we have heartbeats within the heartbeats within the heartbeats, which they interact and are independently operational on their own.
Yes.
I envisage upon my return to Iran in the next few days, in coming days, as I've requested from the officials, we directly go for space travel, space transportation. The rest is a byproduct. And it's not that we're going to build huge laboratories. We're going to make the smallest entities man could ever imagine that can fly. Mankind has gone for these huge gas tanks, solid fuel, or whatever, liquid fuel. We go for an atom in that tank to take man across the universe. You know what they say, how many atoms is in 1 gram? And we go for that atom in that 1 gram, where the present world of science goes, how many tons of that can be put in and pressurized to find position. And he has found limitation with it. They work in a different way, as we call it, the macro and micro. And there's a limitation dimension of physicality, where in the field of plasma there is no limitation. We showed the governments that in the next 12 months we change the course. And nothing can stop it anymore. There is no way, there is no world leader, there is no one on this planet which can stop the course.
Mr. Keshe, can you take one more question from YouTube?
Yep.
From God's Eye View. God's Eye View. God's Eye View has a question. I want to know, has anyone been able to contact their own soul? And if so, how do we do it? How can we control our soul if we don't even know what or where it is?
You have a good view of the God? Ask.
I think that's a fair answer.
I think you should have chosen a different name.
For someone with that view should have an answer to
they've had the whole knowledge
in themselves.
Yep. Shall we call it a day?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Down this road. Please remember, next week we start at 7 p.m. And we keep the integrity of the work and the workshops the same. And we hopefully will learn more from each other in the coming time. I'm looking forward to teach in different parts of the world, as we've done in past few weeks. As before, we do not disclose where and how and where we are. But now we work with a limited number of knowledge seekers close to us, and they work with us as we arrive in different destinations for the purposes we arrive. And we're crossing the span of this planet in different shape or form to be present in what we call in Tehran after the elections by the end of this month. And there is no process that can stop us from the new cycle of development. And even those who can try, who have tried before, they'll find out they fail in the path. And mankind is in for a new cycle and new generation. Do not forget that there is a conference, first scientific conference of the Keshe Foundation, to be held on 20th and the evening of 21st of July in the city of Bucharest. You have to speak to the knowledge seekers of Romania. There are limited seats available, and restrictions of the corona applies the same. We expect to give a conference in Tehran before my departure into Romania, and we expect to give a lecture in China in the coming months, and the same in Washington. Everything is getting planned in the background through different operations of the Keshe Foundation groups. And gradually, as they come up, we will let you know on how you can participate. Get in touch with the Romanian group of the Keshe Foundation Corona if you want to register to attend. And primarily is a one-day conference with the following evening summing up, which is set by the knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation in Romania. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And also, you had a first international virtual conference that you attended. I think it was May 28th or 29th.
Yes, in Philippines.
The recording for that is just now available, I think. I just noticed that, and I don't have it immediately here, but I think it's available. I know it's circulating in the Telegram. I don't know if it's a YouTube video or how we can access that yet, but it will be available through some of the groups at least.
Yes, in that conference we explained, and we announced for the first time that the Keshe Foundation have found a solution to Corona. And we wait to go through the systems of validity by the Iranian scientists and revelation of the totality after the election of the new president. The technology will be shared through governmental channels, and in a way we don't see, as we explained in the what we call virtual conference, there is a new way, there is a new understanding that we can, by disinfecting the environment or balancing the energy fields of the virus of the environment, we do not need to do a lot of other things, which has become traditional. And we are hoping to start this procedure very rapidly in Tehran as a setting examples, and we'll let the other nations to follow, where we see a solution in a different way, in a advanced technology, a space technology, and then we set the scene for the other parts of it. The Iranian team is working relentlessly to organize everything that happened, return the space technology, the environmental and the health side of the Keshe Foundation systematically is applied and take shapes in Iran very rapidly. At the same time, as we know, the Chinese team is working very hard with a new, what they call location, and it's a big challenge for the Keshe Foundation worldwide to bring these things in. And we explain more as we become operational in the next few months, step by step, in the new exhibition center, new position for the television channel, and everything else which we are busy with. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Mr. Keshe, for yet another workshop here. Sorry for the interruptions in the beginning there. Had a lot of audio issues today, to say the least, but it all seemed to work out, and your voice is coming through loud and clear, which is good to hear. Thank you. Okay, this has been the 383rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop on June 3rd, 2021. And we'll have another Knowledge Seekers Workshop next week at 7 p.m. Central European Time instead of 9 a.m. as usual. So keep that in mind, and we'll have that posted in the social media as well. And we have the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace coming up as usual on Tuesday of next week at 4 p.m. Central European Time. And keep tuned with the Keshe Foundation Facebook site is a good place for the connections to the videos and other media that links that are being posted from time to time. Okay, I think that's it. And I believe Dean will take us out, and also a special thanks to Dean for being willing to learn the steep learning curve of video production in the KF TV studio there. And he's doing very well under the circumstances. So thanks, Dean, for all your help. And I think you're going to be a great host and production manager there once you figure out all the buttons. And thank you for that. Okay, thanks everyone.
It's a learning curve,
ahead.
that's for sure. At present, I need Mr. Keshe to stop sharing the screen so that I can play the ads. Thanks, Rick.
Okay, let's see here. I think if I spotlight you, then it should come through. And if we need to stop Mr. Keshe from sharing, we can just do a quick share of anything, basically. And that takes him off. And then you should be able to, I can stop sharing then, and you should be able to play the video with it highlighted. So you should be good to go there now. Not hearing any sound for it, so you'll have to share the sound when you go to
Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GAN's plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced, energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balanced fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered, which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection, as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists, and healthcare centers. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information.